During a powerful public event, President Ibrahim Traoré leaned in and whispered something to Queen Latifah that no one could hear, but everyone saw her emotional reaction. Within seconds, she broke down in tears, leaving the audience stunned. What could he have said? This emotional and respectful exchange quickly went viral, reminding the world of the power of quiet words, shared values, and unexpected vulnerability between two icons from different worlds. The auditorium was alive with applause, flashing cameras, and murmurs of excitement. Queen Latifah had just finished delivering a powerful speech about resilience and unity when President Ibrahim Traoré stepped forward. He greeted her warmly, his eyes carrying both strength and gentleness. As the cheers died down, Traoré leaned closer, shielding his words from the microphones. No one in the audience could hear him. Only Queen Latifah did. And in that instant, everything changed. Her face, once glowing with the calm confidence she was known for, suddenly crumbled. Tears welled in her eyes. She covered her mouth with her hand, shaking her head slowly, as if she couldn't believe what she just heard. The crowd went silent. Cameras zoomed in. Viewers worldwide froze in shock. "What could he have said?" whispered a reporter in the front row. Within seconds, Queen Latifah's tears were falling freely. She tried to compose herself but failed. Ibrahim Traoré stood quietly beside her, his hand resting gently over his heart, giving her space. The entire hall, once loud with energy, now felt like a cathedral, every soul waiting for an answer. The audience didn't know whether to clap, cry, or stay still. The energy shifted into a thick, emotional silence. Phones lit up as people began recording. Social media was already buzzing. What did Traoré whisper to Queen Latifah? Queen Latifah finally found her voice, though it trembled. She turned to the president, her eyes searching his with a mixture of gratitude and disbelief. You don't know what that means to me," she said softly, the microphone barely catching her words. Traoré gave a gentle nod, but didn't repeat himself. His eyes seemed to say, "This moment was for you." The host stepped forward nervously. "Queen Latifah, are you okay?" She nodded, tears streaming. "I've never been this moved, not in all my years, standing on a stage." The audience broke into applause, some people crying as well, without even knowing why. It wasn't the words they had heard. It was the power of sincerity they had witnessed. In homes across the world, viewers leaned closer to their screens. The mystery was too much. What could possibly bring a woman as strong as Queen Latifah to tears in just a whisper? By the time Queen Latifah and Traoré left the stage, the internet had exploded. Clips of her sudden breakdown flooded timelines with captions like, "A whisper worth 1,000 speeches," and "Traoré moves Queen Latifah to tears." News outlets replayed the moment in slow motion, analyzing every gesture, every flicker of emotion. On their faces, commentators speculated wildly. Some said it had to be a memory they shared. Others believed it was a story about her mother, whom Queen Latifah had publicly adored. Some even suggested it was a message about hope in difficult times, but only Queen Latifah knew. Later, backstage, a reporter begged her for details. "Please, Queen, can you share with us what the president said?" She wiped her face gently with a tissue, her eyes still red. "Not tonight. Some words. They're not meant for the world. At least not yet." That answer only deepened the mystery. Meanwhile, Ibrahim Traoré quietly shook hands with staff, his presence calm but commanding. Those who met his eyes said later they felt as if he carried both the weight of a nation and the gentleness of a friend. The world was left desperate to know the truth. The hall buzzed with whispers as Queen Latifah tried to compose herself. People leaned in, phones raised high, desperate to capture the moment. Traoré remained calm, his eyes fixed on her, as if silently reassuring her. One journalist whispered, "That wasn't just small talk. Did you see her reaction?" Another replied, "He said something like changing. You don't cry like that for nothing." Queen Latifah stepped back from the podium, dabbing at her eyes. The crowd erupted into a standing ovation, not even knowing why they clapped, only feeling the weight of the moment. Later, in a quiet corner backstage, a close friend of Latifah's asked, "What did he say to you?" She shook her head, voice breaking. "I can't repeat it, not yet. But it felt like he looked straight into my soul." Traoré didn't linger for interviews. Instead, he quietly thanked the event organizers and left, escorted by his small security team. Yet, his departure left the entire room heavy with curiosity, as if everyone had witnessed history being made, but only half understood it. Outside, cameras waited, but the mystery deepened. No one still knew the words that had shaken a queen. By morning, the clip had gone viral. Hashtags trended worldwide. Traoré whisper, Queen Latifah, tears, and moment of truth. On Instagram, one fan posted, "Never seen Queen Latifah break down like that. Respect to President Traoré, that was powerful." Twitter exploded with theories. Some claimed he reminded her of her late mother. Others speculated he shared a story from his own struggles in Burkina Faso. A few even believed he whispered a blessing. Meanwhile, Queen Latifah remained silent, posting only a black and white photo of her clasped hands with the caption, "Some words change everything." That silence fueled the fire. News anchors debated the moment. It's rare to see two icons from such different worlds connect so deeply in an instant, one remarked. But beyond the noise of speculation, people felt something else. A strange unity. Whether they knew the words or not, millions admitted they were moved to tears, simply watching the video. As the world argued over the mystery, Ibrahim Traoré was already on a plane to his next meeting, calm and focused. Yet his team noticed. Him quietly gazing out the window, deep in thought, whatever he whispered, it clearly weighed on him too. 2 days later, Queen Latifah finally gathered the courage to reach out. She dialed a secure number given to her after the event. When Traoré's voice answered calm and steady, she felt her throat tighten. "Your Excellency," she said softly, I haven't stopped thinking about what you told me." "I meant every word," Traoré replied gently. "It wasn't meant to burden you, but to remind you." Tears filled her eyes again. "You couldn't have known how much I needed to hear that. It was like you were speaking to a wound. I never admitted. I still carried. I did not need to know the details," he said. "Sometimes the soul recognizes what words cannot explain." There was a long silence on the line, both of them breathing quietly, connected in a way neither could have predicted. Finally, Queen Latifah whispered, "The world keeps asking what you said." "I don't know if I should tell them," Traoré paused. "When the time is right, you'll know. Until then, let the silence speak." And with that, the mystery grew deeper. Yet, somehow, more beautiful. By the third day, journalists swore they had the real story. One outlet claimed Traoré had whispered a political message. Another insisted it was about Latifah's acting legacy. But none could explain the tears that had poured down her face. Fans scoured every angle of the video, slowing it down, reading lips, even consulting so-called experts. Yet, the words remained a mystery. Queen Latifah herself stayed quiet, despite pressure from talk shows and news anchors begging her to reveal. "The truth, the world deserves to know," one popular host said, but she knew it wasn't time. Her silence only made people more desperate. Meanwhile, in Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traoré went about his duties, visiting schools and meeting young leaders. Still, his staff noticed a gentle smile whenever his phone buzzed, usually with a short message from Latifah, who seemed to be carrying a secret flame in her heart. The world speculated wildly, but the two of them knew something no one else did. The words whispered had a weight that couldn't yet be shared. The more people guessed, the more powerful the silence became. That evening, Queen Latifah sat in her living room, scrolling through thousands of comments on her social media. "Please tell us what he said. We can't stop thinking about it. Your tears gave me chills. Don't leave us hanging." She put the phone down and sighed deeply. For years, she had been the strong one, the entertainer, the one people leaned on. But Traoré's words had touched something raw and unhealed inside her. Her best friend called concerned. "Dana." She used Latifah's real name softly. "You're not yourself. You've been crying at night. What's going on?" "I can't explain it," Latifah whispered, her voice trembling. "It's like he saw through every wall I've built. And the worst part, he was right." Her friend was silent, then finally said, "Maybe it's time to share it. Not for the world, but for yourself." Latifah closed her eyes. She thought of the millions, waiting, the countless hearts touched by a moment they didn't even understand. Maybe, just maybe, it was time. The next morning, Queen Latifah picked up her phone and dialed. This time, she didn't hesitate. Traoré answered. Calmly, "Good morning, my sister." She inhaled sharply, tears already forming. "Mr. President, I think I need to tell them. The world keeps asking. I can't carry this alone anymore. There was a pause. Then his warm, steady voice came through. If you choose to share, make sure it comes from peace, not pressure. The world is ready, but more importantly, are you ready? Her lips trembled. Yes, because what you told me, it could change lives. It already changed mine. Trey's tone softened. Then let it be so. The truth has power only when spoken at the right time. When she hung up, Latifah wiped her tears, her chest heavy with both fear and hope. Later that evening, she tweeted, "Tomorrow, I will share what President Traoré told me." Some truths are too powerful to keep silent. Within minutes, the internet exploded. The world braced itself. The night before her big reveal, Queen Latifah couldn't sleep. She paced her room, her mind running wild. Cameras would be on her. Millions of people would be waiting for her words. She looked at her reflection in the mirror. What if they don't understand? What if they twist it? She whispered to herself. Her phone buzzed. It was a short message from President Traoré. Speak. From the heart, truth protects itself. She closed her eyes, holding the phone tightly. Somehow those words steadied her. Across the ocean, in Burkina Faso, Traoré was also awake. He stood by his window, watching the quiet night. He wasn't nervous for himself. He was praying for her. He knew the world could be cruel when it came to vulnerability, but he also knew the power of honesty. By midnight, news outlets had already begun live countdowns. Social media burned with hashtags. What did he say? And Latifah speaks. Tomorrow wasn't just another day. Tomorrow, the world would hear a truth no one expected. The hall was packed. Journalists filled every corner. Cameras pointed toward the podium. Millions tuned in online, their hearts racing. Queen Latifah walked onto the stage slowly, wearing a simple but elegant dress. There was no music, no flashy lights, just silence, the kind that makes the air heavy. She looked out at the crowd. A few days ago, she began softly, President Ibrahim Traoré whispered something to me that shook me to my core. Gasps rippled through. The audience, she paused, her throat tight. I cried, not because I was sad, but because for the first time in a long time, I felt truly seen. Her voice broke slightly, and people leaned forward, holding their breath. But before I share what he said, I want you to understand something. Words like his don't just come from politics. They come from a heart that believes in humanity, in love, and in dignity for all people. The audience was already teary-eyed, and the suspense grew heavier. What could Traoré have possibly said to bring Queen Latifah to tears? Latifah took a deep breath. The room was so quiet, you could hear the faint buzz of the cameras. She finally spoke. He whispered, "The world knows you as a queen on stage, but I see you as a sister, a fighter, and a light for those who think they've been forgotten." Her voice cracked, tears sliding down her cheeks. And then he said, "Even if the world forgets your worth, God never will." The room erupted into stunned silence. Journalists lowered their cameras, some wiping their own eyes. Latifah pressed her hand to her chest. Those words broke me open because I've spent years smiling in public while sometimes battling pain in private. He reminded me and all of us that we are more than the roles we play. Online, people began flooding the comments. I'm crying, right? Now this is the most powerful thing I've ever heard. Respect to President Traoré, the world had its answer. And yet, it felt like only the beginning. Within hours of Queen Latifah's revelation, the internet exploded. Clips of her trembling voice and tear-filled eyes spread across every platform. Hashtags like Traoré Whisper and Latifah Tears trended globally. News anchors described it as one of the most moving public moments in years. In New York, a group of teenagers gathered in a school library replaying the clip. One girl whispered, "Did you hear what he told her?" That's the kind of respect we all deserve. Another wiped her eyes, saying, "I wish someone would see me like that." In Burkina Faso, crowds filled community centers, watching the video on projectors. Elders nodded with pride. Young men and women stood silently, many with tears streaming down their faces. President Traoré himself stayed quiet, refusing interviews. His aide said simply, he meant every word. The world was moved, not by politics, not by fame, but by something rare, genuine human connection. And as the video spread, something even more unexpected began to happen. The next morning, a journalist revealed that Queen Latifah had received a sealed letter from President Traoré the night before the event. She had not mentioned it in her speech. The rumor spread like wildfire. What was inside the letter? Was it related to the whisper? Queen Latifah later confirmed its existence on her social media. She posted a picture of the envelope with a simple caption: "Some truths are too sacred for headlines, but soon I'll share." This sent the world into a frenzy. People speculated endlessly. Was it a call to action? A personal message? A secret confession? Behind the scenes, Latifah read the letter alone in her hotel room. Her tears fell on the paper as she whispered, "How can one man's words carry so much weight?" She folded the letter carefully, placing it on the nightstand. Tomorrow, she would decide whether the world was ready to hear it. Later that evening, Latifah requested a private meeting with President Traoré before their schedules separated. No cameras, no journalists, just the two of them in a quiet room. When he entered, she stood to greet him, her eyes still swollen from crying. "Why me?" she asked softly. Traoré smiled gently because sometimes the right words must find the right heart. She held up the letter. "The world is waiting. Should I tell them?" He shook his head. "Not for me, not for you, but for them. Those who need hope more than will ever know." There was a long silence. She reached out and took his hand, nodding. What neither of them knew was that outside the door, a staff member accidentally recorded the muffled sound of her breaking down again in gratitude. That short clip, though unplanned, leaked online within hours. By morning, the world was more desperate than ever to know what was in the letter. The tension was unbearable. The world was waiting. Millions glued to their screens. Queen Latifah finally announced she would address the whispers and the mysterious letter during a live broadcast. When the camera lights came on, her face was calm, but her eyes carried the weight of sleepless nights. She held the folded letter in her hands, her voice trembling. "Ibrahim Traoré didn't just whisper to me," she began softly. "He reminded me and reminded us all what it means to be human." She paused, tears forming. The audience leaned in. "He told me, never forget that your voice is the hope of people who may never meet you, but believe in you. Don't let them down." Her lips quivered as she unfolded the letter. "And this," she continued, "was left me." The room was silent. Cameras zoomed in as she prepared to read the words that had already changed her life. Latifah's voice broke as she read aloud. "To the sister whose light crosses oceans, you may never walk in Burkina Faso's streets, but your courage already does. Remember, every time you laugh, a child here believes tomorrow can be brighter. Don't carry your gift for yourself alone. Carry it for the world." Her tears flowed freely now, her hands shaking. She looked into the camera and whispered, "He told me the world needs my light, and yours too." Gasps filled the room. Some in the audience were openly crying. Social media timelines overflowed with people posting clips, saying they felt as if the words were written directly to them. In Ouagadougou, thousands gathered in the central square to watch the live broadcast. Families embraced, strangers held hands. For a moment, borders and differences melted away. Latifah lowered the letter slowly, whispering through tears, "These words, they belong to all of us." The following day, newspapers and TV channels around the globe carried the same headline: "The Whisper That Touched the World." Messages poured in from every corner of the globe. Parents said their children slept with hope in their hearts. Young people wrote that they finally believed their lives mattered. Queen Latifah and President Traoré appeared briefly together one last time that week. No speeches, no grand gestures, just a simple embrace that spoke louder than any words. When asked later why he had chosen those words, Traoré simply replied, "Because the world needs more people who heal, not just who entertain, and she is one of them." That moment became more than viral. It became a movement, a call for kindness, courage, and light. My dear viewers, if this story moved you, let's keep this light alive. Hit that like button to spread the hope. Subscribe so you never miss stories that touch the soul. And most importantly, share your thoughts in the comments. Tell us how this moment touched you. Your words could inspire someone else tonight. Together, let's keep shining.